It is officially week 4 of Pantheon, which means Bungie has added in the Riven encounter and the Nezarec encounter all in 1 week, and I'm gonna go over and teach you guys both of these encounters in case you don't know them. Please disregard my voice, I kinda lost it from a very long stream last night. We're going to start with the Riven encounter, and there's going to be 2 sides on the Riven encounter, which means the left side, as you can see, is all crystal-like, and the right side is all like forest-like, which means you're gonna have to split up your teams into 2. 3 people left and 3 people right. And you're all going to have to also separate from each other, and there's these plates on the ground. They kind of give me Hunger Games vibes. You just have to step on that plate, and once everybody has stepped on one of them, it is going to drop you down. While you are dropping down, you will find Riven in the middle, but don't worry, she's not gonna do anything. However, there will be some enemies at the bottom that will greet you, so be careful not to die while you're dropping down, like I did literally so many times. And then there's going to be a doorway at the bottom for you to walk through, and it's going to have the exact same theme that you had at the top, meaning it's going to be either crystal-y or it's going to be wooden. Once you have stepped inside your room, there's going to be a bunch of enemies that will spawn in very quickly. So with your team, try to take them out as fast as you can. After some time, there's going to be 2 different scenarios that happen. You are either going to get Riven first or you're going to get Riven second. If you get Riven first, it is your job to stun Riven, and when you stun her, she will show you 2 glowing eyes out of the 10, and those 2 glowing eyes you'll have to give to your teammates that are in the other room so they know which ones to shoot before she wipes. So let's say, for example, you are going to get Riven first. She's either going to come in spitting fire or with tentacles. If she comes in with spitting fire, she's going to spit that fire at you, and after some time her mouth is going to become vulnerable, and that gives you the best chance to shoot at it to make sure to stun her. Now if she does come in with tentacles, it is going to be a little bit similar, except that you have to stand underneath either the left or right tentacle, and then you'll see the tentacle trying to lock in on you. That means you're going to jump away from it, and she dashes her tentacle into the ground, giving you the opportunity to shoot it, and that will also stun her. And like I said before, when you stun her in both of these situations, she's going to reveal 2 glowing eyes out of the 10 that she has, and you're gonna have to call that out to your teammate that is in the other room so they know which ones to shoot before the wipe mechanic. After Riven leaves, you're gonna get a bunch new ads, so make sure to take care of those. 1 teammate, you're gonna have to keep taking care of enemies. 1 teammate has to pick up the orb that the captain drops, is called the eye, and then the 3rd teammate is going to step on top of this platform that is actually behind this window. So the person that picked up the orb, you're gonna turn around and face the person behind the window. You'll be able to see a symbol, and you're gonna call it out. So for example, my partner calls out 2 fish swimming in a circle. So me standing behind the window, it is my job to direct my partner on where to go and dunk. So as you can see, I'm able to see a bunch of different symbols all over the place, so I'm kind of telling him to go to the left staircase, down a little bit towards the inner side, and to dunk there. And then you're gonna have to do that with whatever symbol they call out. My partner, who is holding the orb, is going to walk towards that symbol and use their grenade button to explode it. After that, all the ads are going to disappear, and you're going to walk inside the back room and wait for your other teammates in the other room to finish their side, and then once they're done, you all can go up to the 2nd floor and start the next section. Now going back to what I said earlier about the 2 different scenarios that can happen with your either getting Riven first or second, now that you're going up to the 2nd floor, you will definitely get Riven second because it alternates. So on the 2nd floor, you're going to clear as many ads as fast as you can, all the snipers, all the miniatures, everything. You will then get the captain to spawn in that is holding the eye. The captain is going to drop the eye, and that means you're gonna get ready to do that symbol call out again, except that this time the person who picked it up first will not be able to pick it up again because they have a cooldown, so somebody else is gonna have to pick it up. And again, whoever picks it up has to call out the symbol that they see, and whoever stands behind a window is going to direct them on where they have to walk and explode the symbol. Now, while you are doing that, the other team in the other room is going to get Riven first, and they're going to do the same thing that I explained earlier. It is their job now to stun Riven to show the 2 glowing eyes, which means once they have stunned Riven, you are going to get Riven next. She's going to show up, and that is going to be the time where you do a little bit of damage in her mouth, so you and your team can get ready to do some damage. And once her mouth closes, that is when you're going to shoot the 2 eyes that the other team called out. Once you shot the eyes and they are correct, she is going to leave. By the way, I will be doing an explanation on all the eyes in just a little bit if you're still confused on which eye to shoot. This time, you will have an elevator in the middle of the room. Do not go up until your other teammates are ready. However, if they do take longer than like 15 seconds, just go ahead and go up so that way you don't miss the next mechanic. Once you are upstairs, you are actually in the original spot where you were when you first started the encounter. Here, you will be able to meet up with all of your other teammates. All 6 people will be able to come up here. So there's going to be ogres and a bunch of other ads that spawn in, so just be careful. And then you're going to have to stun Riven 3 total times. So she's either going to come in with breathing fire or tentacles that you have to take care of, damage her enough to stun her, and she's going to give you 2 glowing eyes that you have to remember or write down. Then she's going to spawn 1 spot over, and it's going to be the repeated cycle. She's going to come in with fire or tentacles, stun her, and she's going to give you 2 more sets of eyes. And then you're going to do that 1 more time until you have 6 total eyes, and these 6 total eyes you're gonna have to shoot before the wipe mechanic happens. There are several different strats on how to shoot these eyes, so after you have gathered all 6 of those eyes, she is going to go into DPS mode, which means everybody is going to DPS her mouth because that is going to be your actual damage phase. And after her mouth closes, that is when you have to shoot all 6 of those eyes within a matter of 1 to 2 seconds before she wipes you. Which I know sounds complicated, but there's a few different strats. So the first strat is that every single person in your fire team is going to shoot 1 eye, and you can assign people by numbers. For example, I can be the first eye call out, so whenever we stun Riven first, she's going to give us 2 of her eyes, and I'm going to be the first call out. So if the first eye that we see is L1, that means I have to take care of L1. And then another person has to take of L2. And then the next stun is going to give 2 more eyes, and then people are going to take care of those, and so on and so on. The second strat is that one person takes care of 2 eyes. So when you're doing the stuns on Riven, the very first stun, for example, gives you 2 glowing eyes, and I will take care of them, and then so on and so on. That means 3 total people are going to take care of 2 different eyes. Now, I prefer the strat where every single person shoots 1 eye just because it causes less chaos. And with that being said, whenever you are done with damage phase and her mouth has closed, everybody can get ready to shoot their eyes, and you'll do a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and everybody just shoots their eye they need to shoot. After all eyes have been shot successfully, you are going to run back to your plate that you originally stood on, those Hunger Games plates, because you are going to get darkness, and if you do get darkness, you're going to die. So everybody scatters around the room. There's the crystal side, the wooden side. Go back to your plate, and you're going to drop down again like you did originally. Except that this time, Riven is going to be in the middle with pimples all over her body, and you are going to pimple pop until you do enough damage. Which, by the way, if you don't do enough damage on the earlier damage phase, the pimple popping will do so much damage on Riven, you shouldn't be worried too much. Once you've popped enough pimples, you are then going to get teleported inside the Taken Realm, where you're going to have to go through a jumping puzzle to make it all the way to the top towards Tolan. So once one person has made it, you're gonna get teleported back into the normal realm where you'll be doing a final stand damage to Riven and shooting her mouth as much as you can. Be warned, once Riven collapses, that is actually not the end of the encounter. You're gonna have to wait until her mouth opens up for you to walk inside. You're gonna go through until you find the heart of Riven, and you're gonna damage the heart of Riven as much as you can until the encounter is over. Now, if you're confused with Riven's eyes, I'm going to explain that right now. So Riven has 10 different eyes, and you're gonna have to shoot either 1 or even 2 at a time. Everybody does Riven eyes callouts differently. This is just the ones that I have been using. So we're gonna split Riven's eyes up from left to right, and on the left side she has 5 eyes, and on the right side she has 5 eyes. So the way we label them is L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and then it proceeds to R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5. I always have a cheat sheet somewhere up by me in case I ever need to look at a picture to make sure I'm shooting the correct eye. There are a couple of example pictures that I can show right now, and you can also search them up on Google in case you need to. As for loadouts, I definitely think you're gonna be fine with damage, especially with the pimple popping, so definitely lean more towards the survivability if you would like to. I use Golden Gun, but Tether would be really nice to take care of all the enemies inside the rooms. Well is really nice just for the survivability. Banner of War is really nice just because of the survivability, but it all depends on what you would like to use. And for weapons, I personally like to use linear fusion rifles just because I'm too scared to throw any kind of explosives at her. However, grenade launchers, sleeper, all of these weapons are good for DPS. It is definitely good if you use a solar or a strand weapon because those are the surges of this week. I also have a sniper rifle on me whenever I have to shoot the eyes. I just find it easier to shoot with a sniper. You don't have to, you can also shoot with a scout rifle or a hand cannon, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. And then for the ad clear, I use for barons just because it helps out a bunch. You can also use wither horde or anything that helps out with a bunch of ad clearing. Moving on to the second boss encounter that Bungie has added into Pantheon, it is going to be Nezarec from Root of Nightmares. For this encounter, there's going to be a few different mechanics that are happening. The easiest mechanic is ad clear, which means 3 people are going to be on ad clear, 1 on the left section, 1 in middle, and 1 on the right section. Then we have the 2 runners that are going to basically connect the dots on left side and right side, and then there's 1 person that is babysitting the boss. The 2 people that are going to be running basically means they're going to start at this acorn inside this bubble. So if they are on the left side, that means they have to connect all the light acorns. If they are on the right side, they have to connect all the dark acorns. So you basically start inside the bubble. When you shoot that acorn, it is going to give you a light buff. And with that buff, you're going to look at the acorn and it's going to show you a direction to run to, and that is going to be the next dot that you have to connect by shooting it. And then you're going to run backwards, back inside that bubble, to shoot the acorn 1 more time so you can get the buff and then connect the 3rd dot. Just be careful, you always get your buff wherever the bubble is located, and that bubble will eventually move to different acorns, so just make sure you pay attention on that. It is recommended to shoot at least 3 to 4 of those connected acorns, and then you're gonna have to do another mechanic. While the 2 people are connecting their acorns, 1 person is going to babysit the boss, and they're gonna have to have a sniper on them because their job is to shoot the crit spot on Nezi, just like a tormentor, by shooting both the shoulders and the chest. So once you are shooting both shoulders, the boss is going to give out a glow effect, and it's either going to be dark or light, and that is a very important call out. So just make sure you call that out if you see light or dark so that the runners know their next mechanic. Whenever the boss does this like hand movement and his chest glows, your job is to make sure to shoot that chest, because if you don't, the boss will basically boop everybody up into the sky until you shoot that crit. After you have shot that crit, the boss is going to drop down and start running around, and that is where you constantly keep shooting his chest, which means you will constantly have his attention on you, which I know sounds dangerous, but because the runners are doing their own job, it is good for someone to babysit the boss. After everything, the boss's back is going to start glowing very brightly, and the brighter it glows, the closer it is to wiping us. So there is actually a protection to protect you from the wipe mechanic, and that is why the light or dark callout was very important. If your callout was dark, that means that the person on the light side has to bring their light buff over to the dark side and shoot one of the dark acorns. That has now created a dark refuge buff on that plate, and all you have to do is run through it or just jump on it very quickly, and that will give you the buff for like 15 seconds so you can survive the wipe mechanic. And same thing if you called out light, that means that the person on the dark side has to bring a dark buff over to the light acorn, shoot it, everybody needs to jump on it for a split second to survive the wipe mechanic. Just be careful, you don't want to stand on any of these plates for too long, because if you do, the boss is going to shoot lasers on it, which actually hurt like crazy. After the boss has done the wipe mechanic, he's going to spawn back on the top, where this time the person that babysits, you don't have to shoot the shoulders again, you just have to shoot the chest, which actually triggers him to drop down. Also, after that wipe mechanic, the two runners for light and dark are gonna continue to connect their acorns. It is highly requested for the person on the light side to finish first, and the person on the dark side to wait until Nezarec is on the ground and lured to a specific spot to then finish the last acorn. Everybody is going to move over to the right side of the map and drop down to this branch. The person that is babysitting is going to lure the boss over there, and the person that is on the dark buff, once the boss is over there, you can shoot the last acorn to trigger damage. Now you're going to wait a couple of seconds before you shoot the boss's chest, and then you're going to lure him back to the cliff side to hopefully get him to damage mode at that exact spot. And then you can just go all out with damage. After damage phase is completed, you're going to repeat the exact same cycle. However, there is a second strat that you can use. You're gonna need one babysitter for the boss, and then everybody else can damage. Damage is going to be at the top of the platform that Nezarec originally spawns in, and the person that is babysitting is going to stay at the bottom to keep the boss under control, hopefully, and keep him as still as possible. Everyone from the top can just damage away, and then the person at the bottom just tries to keep control over the boss. You can use sword for sword block, because that will help out a lot, or you can go with divinity to get a debuff going on the boss. One thing for the ad clears, you're gonna have to do a mini mechanic as well. If you are on the ad clear on the left side and the right side, you guys have to bring a buff to the opposite side. With that being said, you're going to basically stand inside the same bubble that your runner is standing in. Once the runner shoots that acorn, you're gonna get that buff as well. So if you're from the light side, you're actually going to run over to the dark side, because you have to kill a colossus that can only be killed with that light buff. And the person on the dark side is going to do the same thing. They're going to stand inside that bubble, grab the buff, run to the left side, kill that colossus, because you can only kill it with that buff. You can then stay put and ad clear where you're at, or you guys can rotate back around. As for loadouts, obviously sniper for the one that is babysitting. For those that are ad clearing, sunshot is good, forbearance is good, anything that clears a bunch of enemies, because there's going to be a lot of them spawning in. As for damage, you can use grenade launchers, sleeper is very good, or rocket launchers, as long as you don't blow yourself up. And it is preferred for you to use either solar or strand, because those are the surges this week, but I was actually using edge transit and it was working fine. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, as it would help out tremendously. I hope this guide has helped you a lot as well, and if you have any questions, let me know down below, and I will see you either in a future live stream on Twitch or in another video. Bye!